Have you ever felt that you've given all your trust and sincerity, only to receive doubt and hurt in return? How many times have you silently wondered whether the person before you truly cares, or if they're just skillfully playing a role in your life? Could those seemingly kind actions and sweet words be mere facades, hiding personal agendas? Deception in relationships not only wounds our hearts, but also erodes our trust in ourselves and others. Perhaps you want to believe that those close to you aren't taking advantage of you, but then small actions, insincere words, and half-truths gradually reveal everything. How can we avoid being swept into a whirlpool of doubt and maintain inner peace when we sense someone's insincerity? In this video, we'll explore 7 clear signs that someone isn't being genuine with you. These lessons will not only help you recognize others, but also take you on a journey to understand that the strength of a steadfast mind is your best defense against negativity. Before we begin, I have a small challenge for you. Watch until the end and see how many of these signs you've encountered in your relationships. Now, let's get started. Sign 1. They're never there when you need them. Have you ever felt like you've poured all your trust, sincerity, and sacrifice into someone, only to be met with indifference and disappointment? How many times have you wondered if that person you considered a friend truly cares about you, or if they're simply using you as a means to their own ends? Those sweet words and kind gestures they offer, are they genuine, or merely a mask to hide their own self-interest? Deception in friendships doesn't just wound the heart, it erodes our trust in others and even in ourselves. I once had an old friend I believed would always be there for me. Whenever she was in trouble or needed help, I was the first to show up, giving her my full support. But when I was struggling at work, feeling crushed by the pressure and utterly exhausted, I found out the hard truth. I called her, hoping for someone to listen and offer a bit of comfort, but instead, I was met with excuses. She was too busy or said she'd call back later. I waited, but that call never came. That was the moment I realized this friendship only held value when I was the one doing the giving. Another time I faced financial difficulty and needed a small loan, a favor I thought would be easily granted by a friend who had often promised to support me. But when I reached out for help, she came up with excuses, even though I knew she was more than able to lend a hand. It was a deeply hurtful realization, understanding that the kindness I had extended so many times had never truly been reciprocated. This relationship, I finally saw, was a one-way street where all the support and care I gave were exploited. Many of these so-called friends often have a whole repertoire of justifications for their absence. They'll tell you they're busy or handling personal matters, but in truth, these are just excuses for their selfishness and lack of sincerity. A real friend doesn't create stories to avoid you when things get tough. They'll show up and listen, even if their own life isn't perfect. Stoicism teaches us a valuable lesson. Don't place your hope in things beyond your control. Don't let yourself become overly reliant on anyone's presence, because ultimately, you must know how to stand strong on your own. When you realize that a friend only comes to you when there's something in it for them, don't feel hurt or betrayed. See it as a valuable lesson in protecting your heart and keeping a safe distance. True friendship won't disappear during tough times. It isn't based on conditions or circumstances, but on genuine love and respect. We don't need to cut such people off entirely, but it's wise to maintain a distance that ensures your peace and inner strength remain intact. Sometimes letting go of a relationship isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's about learning to love yourself with maturity and clarity. Choose carefully whom you let into your life, friends who will be there for you, even when there's nothing in it for them. Sign 2. They never reach out to you first. Have you ever felt like you're the one putting all your trust and sincerity into a relationship, only to get doubt and disappointment in return? How many times have you silently wondered whether the person in front of you genuinely cares, or is simply playing a subtle role in your life? The actions that seem kind and the words that sound sweet, are they just a cover for some hidden agenda? Deception in relationships doesn't just hurt the heart, it erodes our trust in others and even in ourselves. You may want to believe that someone close isn't just using you, but then little actions, insincere words, and half-truths start to reveal what's really there. So how do we avoid being pulled into the spiral of doubt and instead hold on to our inner peace when we sense deception? In this video, we'll explore 7 clear signs that someone may not be sincere with you. These insights not only help us identify others' intentions, but also guide us on a journey toward recognizing the strength of a resilient mind as our best defense against negativity. Imagine a friend who only reaches out when they need something from you. It can leave you feeling drained, like you're the one keeping the relationship afloat. As a follower of Stoicism, I'm not suggesting cutting ties with such people immediately. Instead, I encourage you to gain a deeper understanding of human nature and learn to let go of expectations for others. If someone never initiates contact, it may be a sign that they only view you as a secondary connection, a source of benefit when convenient, or simply lack true commitment. Imagine a friend who only calls when they need help or when they're feeling low. Does that sound like a relationship based on lasting, genuine care? Probably not, because a true connection is one where both people are willing to give and receive without one person carrying all the effort. Ask yourself, if I stopped reaching out, would this person try to maintain our connection? Step back and observe. If they truly care, they'll notice your absence and try to reconnect. If they don't, you may already have your answer. I once had a friend I thought was very close. I would frequently check in, inviting them for coffee or a movie. But then I realized I was always the one reaching out. Curious, I stopped contacting them to see what would happen. Surprisingly, I didn't receive a single call, text, or inquiry from them. At first I felt hurt and let down, but then I remembered the Stoic teaching from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. I realized I had placed too much expectation on a relationship where the other person didn't share my values. Instead of feeling hurt, I took it as a valuable lesson, a reminder of the power in letting go and focusing on controlling my own emotions. Stoicism teaches us that expectation is the root of disappointment. By learning to see each relationship clearly and lowering our expectations for reciprocation, we can avoid feeling hurt unnecessarily. If someone's actions show they don't prioritize your presence, they may have limited your role in their life. Though you may have invested much time and emotion into that connection, the reality shows they don't place the same value on having you in theirs. Instead of continuing to invest in an unbalanced connection, redirect your energy toward relationships that offer genuine exchanges where both people are willing to give and receive. If someone never puts in the effort to maintain a relationship, they may not truly value it or simply may not know how to show it. But as a Stoic, you don't need to judge or react negatively. Instead, Focus on building inner strength, seeking understanding and acceptance. Direct your efforts toward cultivating relationships with true reciprocity. In the end, the most important thing in any relationship isn't whether others make an effort for you, but whether you are strong enough not to rely on their attention. This is the Stoic way, living with strength, calm, and resilience. Sign 3, they only focus on themselves. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation that seems entirely one-sided, where it's all about the other person, and you barely get a chance to share anything about yourself? When dealing with insincere people, you quickly realize that you're merely the audience to their one-person show while they dominate the stage. These individuals aren't truly interested in you. They see every interaction as an opportunity to talk about their lives, their achievements, and their issues, reducing you to a passive listener in a dialogue that revolves solely around them. This is more than just selfish behavior. It reflects a fundamental lack of sincerity when they can't seem to value your thoughts or feelings. Imagine a colleague who constantly talks about their grand projects, recent exotic vacations, and extensive social network, but whenever you try to share something about yourself, they immediately steer the conversation back to them, making every attempt at connection feel hollow. I once had a friend like that. Every time we met, they would replay the same stories about themselves, showing no interest in anything I had to say. At first, I tried to empathize, thinking maybe they needed someone to listen, but I quickly realized that every effort I made to share was met with indifference. That's when I understood this relationship was one-sided, and they didn't really see my value. Self-centered friends seek constant validation, viewing conversations as stages for their own ego rather than opportunities for true connection. If you share your own struggles instead of listening and offering support, they quickly flip the discussion back to their own hardships, leaving you feeling as if your words had been lost in an echo chamber. At that point, you understand that this person isn't really a friend. They don't intend to shoulder your burdens or share in your hardships. They only want to share their own. These individuals don't just refuse to listen. They dismiss your feelings altogether. They lack the sensitivity to understand others' emotions and rarely offer genuine encouragement. When you open up about something meaningful, they react superficially or even try to downplay what you've shared. It's not that they don't understand, it's that they don't want to. Have you ever shared a painful or challenging event in your life, only for them to brush it off as unimportant or even ignore it entirely? Such reactions show how detached they are from your experiences. A true friend would never make you feel like a burden. They'd take time to listen, and even if they have no advice to offer, they'd make you feel validated and respected. When you encounter someone who only talks about themselves, instead of feeling hurt or angry, remind yourself that their behavior reflects their lack of maturity. You don't have to respond to insincerity with negative emotions. Instead, keep a safe distance and recognize that they won't bring positive value to your life. Once you realize someone cares only about talking and not about listening, respond with a stoic mindset. Remember that you have the right to choose relationships that are worthy of your time. You're under no obligation to endure others' selfishness. Rather than letting yourself get pulled into these one-sided conversations, focus on people who genuinely care about you. Keeping your distance doesn't mean harboring resentment toward them. It's about protecting your spirit from unnecessary negativity